Hey folks, Relost with Jar Midland. I'm Jar Midland's this is a top 40 least favorite wrestlers series, part 4. Um, Check out part 2 and you'll see some funny comments from somebody who attempted to troll despite not having a grasp of the English language. It was hilarious. I did end up blocking them, mainly because I have no time for trolls. I just screen capped it and put it on my Twitter. It's fun. It's funny as fuck, honestly. But I don't come into other people's videos and get upset at them if I don't agree with them. There are some great videos on YouTube. There are some horrible videos on YouTube. And I don't throw a ton of stuff at people. If people want to put the work in and do their videos, fine. I'm not going to feed the negativity. I'm just going to have fun. The reason I'm doing the top 40 least favorite wrestlers series, though, is because there are generally some wrestlers that I've taken issue with for a variety of reasons. And that's why I'm doing this. Some of them were just bad wrestlers, not necessarily bad human beings. But I did a top 50 favorite wrestlers series that's going to go on longer than this. I mean, guys, it's just a channel for fun. I'm not advocating that people kill themselves or anything. I would never advocate that. Or anything like that, or wish death or disease on people. It's like, I would never do that. You can get angry and get caught up in stuff, but it's just enjoy it for the fact that it's wrestling. We all have characters we like and dislike, and here are some more. I'm going to go from 22 to whatever and cover it in about maybe 15, 16 minutes. And some of these people, again, aren't bad human beings. I just never cared for their wrestling ability. Number 22, Velvet Sky. How can somebody who is not any good... I mean, I've discussed about Velvet Sky before, so I'll probably be pretty brief here. I think she blocked me on Twitter. Or if she didn't, I'd be surprised. I know Angelina Love did. Angelina Love is not on this list, by the way. Velvet Sky she never struck me as necessarily a mean-spirited person. In fact, I've heard from people who have met her she's very nice. I've just never seen how she stayed in the ring for this long when she hasn't gotten any better since 2005. I think I saw her in a Sunday Night Heat match as Talia Madison, which I think is her real name, or close to her real name. And it was her against Victoria. And, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was a throwaway match where Victoria basically squashed her. But she can't really hit very effective moves. She's just not very good. She's just not. And, I mean, for being in the ring as long as she has been, I don't know if she's still actively wrestling or if she's just doing managing, that kind of stuff, or if she's trying to get into Hollywood. But just the times I saw her in the ring, her and Angelina and Madison Rayne were great as a heel group. Great. And Velvet certainly wasn't unlikable on TV because she seemed to genuinely love what she was doing. She just wasn't very good at it. And that's really what it is. It's like just, anytime I watch her in the ring, I'm just like, God, she's awful. Am I somebody that can get in the ring and wrestle? Absolutely not. And I've never said I could. But there are plenty of women, and there are women way, way, way worse than Velvet Sky that got pushes in the business. Way, way worse. But just for how long she'd been in wrestling, it just amazes me that her work never seemed to improve. Could that be because they had her eliminating her moveset? Could that be because she was being given very little material to work with and didn't care? It's entirely possible. But I just never care. I just never care for Velvet Sky in the ring. In the ring, mainly. That's pretty much it. Number 21, Eva Marie. Eva goddamn Marie. I'm so fucking glad that she's gone. Because she never belonged in the business. She took up so much TV time, and they tried to give her, a bit of a push before she got suspended right before SummerSlam 2016, because sometimes it's nice to do something stupid. People compared Eva Marie to Sable, myself included, and I realized that was unfair. At least Eva was willing to take a bump. She took bumps on her knees just fine. Read into that how you want. But at least she was trying. I mean, and that's about the most praise you'll hear from me for Eva Marie. Was she a terrible person? No. I mean, her husband strikes me as more of a bitch than her. Because he seemed to lash out at everybody, which I didn't quite understand. I understand defending your wife, but it's like, she wasn't cut out for the business. She wasn't. She could draw some good heat because she was horrible, and I'm sorry. If you think Eva Marie was a good wrestler in the ring, there's something wrong with you. There really is. She could draw good heat because people didn't want to see her. Didn't want to see her at all. She's awful. God awful, and it's a good thing she's out of wrestling. Get into modeling, even though I don't think she's attractive. Get into Hollywood. do some acting. I mean, God knows you could be. It's at least they can do multiple takes in Hollywood and on TV, so she could certainly be better there. She certainly wasn't good in front of a live audience on the mic. She just could not talk. But compared to Sable, Eva Marie at least tried to take bumps. She didn't take them very well, but when she tried to get in the ring with, and get trained by Brian Kendrick, she at least tried. She wasn't very good, but she tried. So that, again, is the most praise I'll give her. If she was still part of WWE, she probably would have cracked the top 10. Because WWE kept wasting money. That was, next to some certain women, that was actually the biggest waste of money that WWE's ever done. I just never understood why Eva Marie was seen as, oh, she's this goddess, she's all read everything, she's all brain dead everything. In the ring, I mean. Could she be a nice person? Sure she is. I did, at times, I checked her Twitter feed, somebody would retweet something of her tweets. So I'd take a look at the tweet, and I'd read some of the comments, and some of the comments are pretty vile. I could understand saying that she wasn't very good in the ring, or feeling she can't wrestle, but some people were just like, they were telling her stuff like, well, go screw off and die, or this kind of stuff, and that's too far. That's too far. Like, I mean, I can talk about my least favorite wrestlers, but at the end of the day, I recognize that they're people. Now, once I get to my top 10, I'm going to especially my top 8, I'm going to really get vile. But at least with Eva Marie, it's like, she's out of the business. That's why she's ranked as low as she is. She's ranked a little bit above Velvet Sky, because at least Velvet Sky has been in the ring for a number of years. I mean, I don't understand how Velvet Sky has been in the ring for a number of years when she hasn't been any better. But Eva Marie, just a colossal waste of time. But at least she tried to take bumps. Number 20, Virgil. Just, if somebody lived off of one damn angle more than him, I mean, his angle with Ted DiBiase when he waffled over the $1 million belt, and his brief feud with DiBiase, well, actually, it was a few months. It was fine. I mean, it was like one of the biggest pops I'd heard in a long time. And one of the biggest pops of the early 90s, for sure, was, the crowd was just so happy. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But the only nice thing that I remember about Virgil was he picked up the $1 million belt. He had this look, and he just waffled him, and the crowd just, oh, man, geez, goosebumps, just exploded. The problem is Virgil, he wasn't very good in the ring. He had a good look. He had a good physique. But if he was not a friend of Hulk Hogan's, there's no way he would have made it to WCW. He was Vincent. Him and Stevie Ray had one of the worst pay-per-view matches I could think of, and I think that was uncensored 1999. If I recall right, it was uncensored or Spring Stampede. I think it was uncensored 99. Or Spring Stampede. It might have been Spring Stampede. It was one of the two. But just Virgil, just not a good worker. Just not. I mean, it's like, part of me wants to feel bad because the guy seems to be poor and like he didn't save his money properly or whatever. I hope he didn't get his money stolen from him. I mean, that's just not good, no matter what, and it's terrible that happens to many athletes, men and women. But Virgil just, for a guy that had one big, was part of one big angle, he tried living off that for a number of years, and he looked miserable anytime he was on TV. Never looked like he had much of a damn smile on his face. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what personal issues the guy went through. I don't know. He could have lost his parents at an early age. He could have had a rough home life. I don't know. But based on just solely on his in-ring character, the guy was just shit. The guy was shit. After 91, the guy was crap. And his time in WCW was crap. He was not formidable at all. One time he took a diamond cutter, and I swear to God, the way he took it, I thought DDP dropped him on his head. And it was scary. But yeah, Virgil, horrible in the ring. Just horrible. I mean, is he a horrible guy? I don't know. Number 19, Wes Briscoe. I've ranted about Wes Briscoe before. One of the worst members of Aces and Eights. The guy was just shit. For being in the Briscoe family legacy, having those bloodlines. I mean, and by the way, Gerald Briscoe will block anybody if anybody says anything about Wes Briscoe. So tweet your honest opinion of Wes Briscoe if you don't like him. So Gerald Briscoe, who's known as Miss McMahon's stooge, despite being one hell of a tag team wrestler in his day, You know, if he wants to be a little bitch like that, fine. Wes Briscoe was awful. WWE cut him for a reason. He was horrible in TNA, Impact Wrestling. He looked like he spent about 8 years in a tanning bed. The guy was red as the sun. Red as the surface of the sun or Mars or whatever. He was red. He was red as all these as planets, you know, and everything red put together. He's red as Zoidberg. It was insane. And the guy, he had enough. He had plenty of energy. I mean, I'll give him that much credit. I mean, maybe that was just his character on TV, but him and Garrett Bischoff like teaming up. I mean, I felt bad for Garrett because Garrett at least tried and wasn't bad. He seemed to inherit a bit of his dad's charisma. And Eric Bischoff did have charisma, despite what anyone wants to say about Eric Bischoff, who is not on here, and he will not be on my top, you know, on my list of people I can't stand in wrestling. And yes, I'm going to do eventually a top 10, top 20, you know, or do top 10 sections, you know, various shows throughout the year. I might even wait until later this year and do some more positive shows, but finish off the year with doing some top 10s of people I just can't stand. And that'll include wrestling personalities and lack of personalities like Mark Madden, Vince Russo, Josh Matthews, Ed Ferrara, and various people. Bruce Pritchard also, I just can't stand Bruce for whatever reason. He just comes across as scuzzy. But Wes Briscoe, it's just, how could somebody with that kind of lineage be that bad in the ring? I mean, Impact, I don't know what Impact saw in him. I mean, they were just taking anybody at that point, which was really sad because it damaged the brand. When Impact Wrestling had a lot of really good talent for a number of years, but yeah, Wes Briscoe was bad. Just bad, just horrible, red as Zoidberg and Mars put together, just bad. He was bad in the ring, bad on the mic, he was just bad. Number 18, Eric Watts. For a second generation, Bill Watts' son, he apparently, I think, left college just before, I think he either graduated college and decided not to go in the NFL or something, or not, you know, pursue a career in education, or, you know, or wherever he was going to go. I forget what he was studying for. But he started to get into wrestling, and he just didn't have it. He had a good look. He wasn't a great worker. The crowds turned on him really quickly, and he wore horrible jackets, by the way, and that wasn't his fault. That was the early '90s fashion of like bright colored jackets and just bad fashion. It was bad fashion all around. Dynamic dudes, anybody? I mean, come on, like just that guy was bad. And yeah, special mention to Johnny Ace for just being a shit human being. He was really bad. In fact, I was like, Eric Watts, you know what? Eric Watts, you're off the list. You're off the list. Eric Watts wasn't that good in the ring. I mean, he was part of Techno Team 2000, all that stuff or whatever, but Eric Watts is off the list. Johnny Ace. For being a shit worker. I mean, the whole Ace Cutter thing, he couldn't deliver that thing for nothing. He was terrible. I felt bad for Shane Douglas. I mentioned Shane Douglas earlier in this series. At least Shane Douglas could take bumps for a while, and Shane Douglas was a damn good tag team wrestler. Singles wrestler, I mean, he started to fade away pretty quickly, especially by 97, 98, even though he could talk, aka yell. Yeah, I'm taking Eric Watts off the list because Johnny Ace, in particular for being the horrible executive that he is, and the stuff he said to AJ Lee, stuff like, that people wouldn't find her attractive. Because Johnny fucking Ace knows about being attractive, or whoever knows what attractive is. I mean, he married the Bella's mom, who looks like the poster child of, you know, vapidness right there. And yeah, sorry, I just never, I'll bury the Bellas if I want, but it's like, relatively speaking, but I just never care for the mother. The mother just seemed vapid as hell, but Johnny Ace, piece of shit human being. Just absolute piece of shit human being. He got Jim Cornette fired from, or wanted Jim Cornette fired from OVW, But yeah, just Johnny Ace is like, Mr. Excitement, Big Johnny. He was, any time he was on TV, it's like, I love when Punk ripped into him because CM Punk does, was one of the few guys that could. He just was like, what was this? What was Johnny Ace? Why was he alive? I mean, he was a corporate suck up. That's pretty much why he was there. And that's pretty much why WCW hired him. I mean, even though I guess he took over right after Russo was fired or let go or sent home to finish collecting his paycheck, whatever story you believe, he took over and tried to, take over creative. And WCW by that point was finished, but I think Johnny Ace actually would have killed the company by late '99 because he has no good ideas on how to do anything. Johnny Ace is a garbage human being. And John Laurinaitis, by the way, but I'm going to call him Johnny Ace because Johnny Ace it's the perfect douchey name for a guy that clearly doesn't understand what attractive women are. And I mean, taking the Bella's mother out of it, if they're happy, whatever, I don't know what she sees in him. I would think that she would have just a little bit more class. Even though I said what I said about her, she does seem pretty vapid and pretty, materialistic. She doesn't seem like the worst person in the world. Johnny Ace really is, and Laurinaitis is just a shit human being. So yeah, he unseats Eric Watts for this. I mean, I mentioned Eric Watts, guy I didn't really cared for him as a wrestler. But Johnny Ace is a worker. John Laurinaitis is a worker and a human being. I mean, fucking Johnny Ace is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Garbage human being. I cannot believe that somebody like him actually has managed to make it in wrestling, but that just proves that Vince likes corporate suck-ups. I mean, that's it. Anyway, I'm going to finish that off right there. Johnny Ace, terrible, terrible human being, and maybe one day he'll have to sell off a few of his loud suits. Not that anybody will buy them, because we all have taste. Anyway, so that's what I gotta say. Do you agree, disagree so far with what I've said in this series? Like, share, comment, subscribe. My Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon. Oh yeah, fuck you, Johnny Ace.